Hello, English 102 students. Welcome to the class. What I'll do in this PowerPoint is give you a general overview of what to expect in the class, what kind of stuff we'll be doing this quarter, what I'm expecting of you, and what the work will look like, and kind of just generally what our quarter will look like. You'll have one of these lectures to listen to every week, and well, you'll have two this week. This is the introductory one, and then you have one in the week one module. I want to apologize for the quality of these. I'm not a pro at making videos. I'm not a pro at lecturing online. I've taught online for about 10 years, and I've only recently started doing these online lectures. And to be honest, they make me a little uncomfortable. I don't know if they make you uncomfortable. I've heard that students benefit from having kind of like having heard the instructor's voice and getting to listen to the instructor explain things vocally as opposed to just reading materials that are posted in Canvas. So I hope you find these helpful. I'll probably sound a little awkward in them, but to be honest, I sound a little awkward in person anyway, so it's not too different from how I normally am, and you know this if you've met me. So anyway, what you'll see in this PowerPoint is an overview of just generally what the class is, English 102, what's it all about, course organization, how this course is set up, my expectations of you, what you can expect of me, and then how to communicate with me. I'll try to fit all of this into this lecture. So first of all, English 102's full title, which you may or may not have seen, is English 102 Critical and Analytical Writing. And so this is a writing class, the last in the English sequence, or the second in the English sequence, and it focuses on criticism and analysis, as you would expect from the title of the class. Traditionally at GHC, and I believe elsewhere, this has been taught as a literature course. I've taught this course since 2003. Oh my goodness. I've taught English 102 since 2003 at GHC. And I've always taught it as a literature course. I continue to teach it as a literature course because my background is in literature. And so for me, criticism and analysis go hand in hand with literature. Not everyone at GHC teaches it that way. We all kind of teach it differently, and we have a number of folks in the English department. And that's good because that way students can kind of see different, I don't know, they can get different perspectives or find a different instructor if they don't like the way I do things or something. But anyway. The way I do the class is we read literature and we analyze it a number of different ways. We'll talk about different perspectives that we can bring to analysis, and then we'll criticize that literature, not by saying it's bad, but by sort of saying what it means and how we interpret it in writing. So in this class, anyway, you'll have 3 essays, and each essay will be from a different critical perspective. The last one will be a major research paper. So another component of this class, it's kind of a weird class, isn't it? Criticism, analysis. Another part of the class is that I'm supposed to be teaching you how to do research in addition to how to do analysis and criticism. So I'll make my best attempt at doing that this quarter, and the essays in this class will be scaffolded from that perspective, meaning the first essay will focus only on criticism and analysis, just close analysis of a poem or short story. The second essay in the class will possibly include some research. You'll be opened up to doing research. You'll be allowed to doing research would be a less weird way to say that, I guess, if you find that it's necessary for your critical perspective. That'll make more sense once you get to this point in the class. The third essay, research will be a requirement, and we'll talk about strategies for doing research, tools we have for doing research at GHC. We'll practice doing research a bit together as a class in our class discussions. So by the end of the quarter, my hope is you'll have flexed your analytical muscle enough that you feel confident doing that, and then you can add research into that as well, and you'll produce this fantastic piece of writing that ties together all of the stuff in the class. So, onward. This course is organized using modules, and you probably have encountered these before if you've been taking online classes before, if you have taken online classes before. So there's one module for each week. I think that's pretty standard. I've tried to put the stuff in each module in chronological order, meaning first things first, last things last. So first in each module, there's an overview of all the stuff that you need to do that week and kind of a description of when it will happen and how it will happen, if necessary. And then next will just be all of the course materials for that week and all of the assignments for that week in order. So start at the beginning and read everything thoroughly. Watch the lecture thoroughly. Make sure you take notes on it, pay attention to it, read all the stuff I'm posting thoroughly. Try not to miss stuff, and try to read all the directions too. One issue I notice in this class and in the other classes I teach online especially is that one of the major reasons students don't do well in those classes is that they're just kind of like missing things or not following directions or kind of skimming through things too quickly, which it's easy to do in an online class because you don't have me there kind of saying do this, do that, hovering over your shoulder like I would do in a face-to-face class. Anyway, so what I aim for in each module is consistency in due dates and times. I don't always get there because, like, for instance, during week 1, we're sort of delayed a little bit due to the introductory stuff, and also because I don't want to heap too much work on you on like the first day of the class when you're just getting oriented to everything. So the first week, the timeline is a little bit stretched out, but otherwise, typically you'll have discussions due on the same day, you'll have essays due on the same day, so that you can kind of predict like what's due when. If you're ever like wanting to see a whole great big list of all the work in the class chronologically and what's due when, without going into those weekly modules because they won't all be unlocked at the beginning of the quarter, you can go into the syllabus, and at the end of the syllabus there is a course schedule that has all of that. So if you're ever wondering like, hey, when is essay 2 due? When do I have to read chapter 7 of the textbook or whatever? That's all in the syllabus. One thing I want to caution you against is relying on that to-do list in Canvas. If you see something there, definitely don't ignore it because it's probably not a mistake, but if all you do is look at the to-do list to tell you what you need to do each week, you'll be missing like 90% of the stuff in the class. So you'll miss assignments that don't have points attached to them, you'll miss deadlines that don't have points attached to the assignments that the deadlines are for. Was that a complete sentence? I hope so. You'll miss instructions for how to complete the work. Basically, you'll miss like a lot of stuff in the class. So again, don't ignore that to-do list, but don't rely on it. Make sure you're reading all of the stuff in the modules every week. Course expectations. So check Canvas at least daily. I've noticed throughout the years that I can see when you log in, by the way. I've noticed throughout the years that students who log into Canvas daily and just kind of check in to see what's going on tend to do better in online classes and face-to-face classes too, but especially online classes when your primary mode of interaction with the class is online, or maybe your only mode of interaction with the class is online. Anyway, check Canvas daily was the bottom line there. Read the syllabus and the material and the modules thoroughly. I expect you to do that. Follow all the directions. If you don't understand something, please ask, but the go-to place for you if you don't understand something first is the syllabus and the weekly module. This is in the syllabus, but I want to make it really clear right from the start because this is a surprise to some students. I don't take any late work, and it doesn't matter the reason. And there's no makeup work in the class, there's no extra credit work in the class. Basically, you're graded in this class on the work you complete on time according to the directions I give. So please don't expect to like blow off the work until the last week of the quarter and then turn it all in, because I just simply won't take it. With that said, of course, if you have like an emergency or something, you're welcome to contact me about it. I might say, too bad I don't take late work, but you know, you can always ask if you want to. If you know in advance that you have to miss a couple of days because you're going somewhere and you'll be like out of internet range or whatever the phrasing is there, you can get a hold of me. There might be a way to work that out, there might not, but you know, you can always communicate with me about that. Speaking of communicating with me, I'm easy to get a hold of. The best way is Canvas messaging or email, GHC email. They both go to the same place for me, so I see them all in the GHC email, the Canvas messages, and my regular emails. If you message me in Canvas, you can expect a prompt reply. Typically, I strive to return emails within 24 hours. But give me time and give yourself time, especially if you're working with a deadline or if you're emailing me after 5 p.m. or on the weekend. For instance, if there's a deadline of midnight and you email me at 11 o'clock at night, I will be in bed and you will not get a response from me until the next morning when the work has already been due. So try to anticipate the questions that you might have. I know that can be hard to do. Try to give yourself enough time to complete assignments so that if you have questions about them, you'll still have enough time to get an answer from me to your question. Try to communicate clearly and professionally, both with me and with others in the class. I'm sure you know what that means. Basically, try to explain yourself thoroughly, spell things out, avoid profanity, avoid screaming at somebody over the internet.